Okay, we will call the meeting to order of the Donald W. Reynolds Library Board at 3:17. And we'll have roll call, please.
Marion Hill.
Here.
Joe Littlejohn is not here. Gloria Hodge.
Here.
Kaylee Curry.
Here.
Melissa Brewer.
Here.
Jane Hicks.
You
Okay.
need to turn your mic, flick your switch up, Jane, so they can hear you say here from
Oh,
now.
right.
Well, you still have to because we're being live streamed. I don't
Oh,
make
there.
you guys get on
The box. There you
the
go.
tablets because we don't have enough to really go over. And then when you're done, you can turn it off. We just have to remember to.
Okay, just speak into the mic. Okay, consent items. Do we have anything there? We'll move on to number 2.
Well, the consent item should have you approve the minutes from last time, shouldn't it, Jennifer?
Yeah, it's on there.
Okay. We have the minutes of the March 15th, 2023 meeting. If you can look at that. It's not going to mean much to the new people, but
And the email you get from me will have all this information in it, so you can always read over it before, it'll be a packet.
Okay.
But it should have been on this agenda, and I don't know why that got moved, but. Okay. Gloria?
move on. Okay.
Well,
Is
you
there
have to make a motion.
yeah,
to-
is there a motion to accept the minutes?
I move we accept the minutes.
I'll second.
Okay. And
All in favor? You're fine, you're fine.
I'm new at this, ladies. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, motion carried. Okay. Next item is the, okay, so now number 2, is that?
That's
anything
not
different?
relevant for us because we didn't have to move anything,
Okay.
but.
Okay, so down to number 3, information items, monthly reports.
And remember, these we don't have to vote on, so
Right.
I do the previous 3 months, and these are the reports that get submitted to used to be the city manager, but these are on the Durant.org website. Haven't been able to find old ones, but you'll always have the last 3 months. So, statistics, all that sort of stuff. And in that, I will tell you that we had the numbers for summer reading for June and July. Revenue, talk about everything that's coming up. August is kind of a chill month because we're done with summer reading, but we don't start back with after-school programs. It tells you what kind of community events we hosted, the paid events we host, what the Friends of the Library are working on, and then the community programs. And this June and July had some health literacy and summer reading and summer feeding. Sometimes it's the same information over and over again, but you can look at these. And in talking about these, we made some changes. What month is this? September. So late August, early September. The policy for computer use was, and it always was, that if you have a library card, everyone gets 1 reservation a day. And if you had a library card, when I first started, it was an hour if you had a library card and 30 minutes for a guest pass. And after several years, we got tired of being fussed at about that. And people were right. If the computer lab is empty, why can't I have more time? So not long after, I think we did this before Dottie even left, so I'm gonna say 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. We doubled it. So your library card got you up to 2 hours and a guest pass was an hour. Well, every month I look at the average computer use time. It did not go up that much. For June, it was 36 minutes, July was 40 minutes, and August was 40 minutes. 36 is kind of low. It went up to about 40 minutes, and I think it had been 25 or 26 in previous years. Well, after kind of thinking about it again and honestly having a patron be rude about it, we decided, why are we limiting them to 1 reservation per day? We looked at some other libraries. You can get on, as long as there's a computer available, you can get on. So if you get on 3 times during the day, that's fine. And everyone, we don't log guest passes. We just, if you come in and you need to use the computer and you don't have a library card, we make sure you're not in the system and you don't owe us money, and then we let you get on the computer. Everybody gets 2 hours, and then we've changed the management system to where you can have multiple reservations, but you can also extend your reservation. So if you're doing work for college or something, and we have several of those, once you get close to your 2 hours, it will say, do you need more time? And you say yes, and it will then do 15-minute increments up to another hour. So you can have up to 3 hours. And it really was in the beginning, when I thought about it, was to help patrons.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, it is so much easier on us. So much
Yeah.
easier. We're not having to physically make a reservation, go out. We tell them, what computer would you like to have? They go sit, we log them in. So at the end of September, so the October monthly report, I really think we're gonna see a spike in the number of reservations we have and the number of guest passes we have, and the amount of use, how long people are on the computers. So, because I can already see that we have more people on the computers.
Is that gonna be the same for the kid computers too?
The kids are 2 hours. I did not make any delineation between those.
I just know in the past, we've gotten on a kid's computer and then that time has run out because they like walked away from it, and then we come back, they can't get back on it because they couldn't
Or
do a
they
second
logged in a
reservation.
computer and then they somehow logged themselves out. No, they can
Mhm.
log in and out
Cool.
18 times if they want to. That makes it a lot easier
Yeah,
on y'all
that'll
and
help
on
me a
us.
lot.
The kids' computers, they had been set in an hour, and it was just easier to just let everybody.
Yeah, well, they don't usually stay on it for more than an hour at one time, but like sometimes we get on the computer and then we go do Legos for a little bit, and I'd have to tell them like, hey, if you leave the computer, you don't get to get back on, and so now I don't have to do that.
A lot less fighting with people and trying to enforce a policy that doesn't help anybody.
Yeah.
It made more work for us. We have 16 computers. At the old library, they had 4. And they literally used index cards with times and a timer, okay? We're not that anymore. But we have 16 computers. I told the kids, I said, wouldn't you love to come in here at, 2 o'clock in the afternoon and 10 of those computers are being used?
Mhm.
It would be wonderful. So I'm really anxious to see come October the metrics for those. So that has been a big change that will be in the report for next month. And then we also are trying to be a little bit more lenient with, like, if you came in with the kids and all you had was your library card, your 2 are attached to you. As long as they're there,
Mhm.
you can check out. You don't have to keep. Now, if your kids aren't there, you're going to have to be like Marilyn Similescu, and you're going to have to go to the self-check and put all their numbers in and do it yourself. And I know she does that, but all the kids are attached to her, and we're not going to interfere. She knowingly does that
Yeah.
and gets books for them when they're in school. And we did have a parent who was kind of upset about that, insisted that she did it every time she came in. And I said, well, I don't know who you're going to, because we all follow the rule. Your kid has to be here. She's like, well, but he wasn't up here at the desk. Well, if you tell me he's over on the computer, I'm not going to make him get up, come over there, growl at me and then go back to the computer,
Well, and
because he's mad, because he can't play,
Yeah. You guys are observant too. Like, I don't think I've ever walked into that library without somebody taking note of who all walked in with me.
So we're trying to be a little bit more patron friendly, maintaining security, the new app. If you've got the app is really starting to take off. You upload your card and you can put as many kids as you want to on there. The Brewer mom that has like 8 kids, I think she got maxed out at 6, so her husband's gonna have to put a couple of them on there. But you can go through and I know with Marilyn Similescu, she'll go through and activate and look and see what the kids all have out. And she accidentally left it on Lori's the baby. And then she was putting books on hold for her. And I'm like, why does Lori have like the newest Ann Perry book on hold? What is that about, And so she came in yesterday and I finally figured out, I'm like, you're gonna have to swipe back to you, activate your card, and then do search. Because with the app, you can now put items on hold that are in the library. So throughout the day, we have to check the messages in TLC so we can go pull the book or the movie. Alexa's been using it, and pull it, we scan it, it tells us who it's for, we call you. There's one woman who was using it who we didn't have to call because she got the emails through TLC and then she come to the drive-thru to pick up. We're really making an effort, and by we I mean me, of telling people when they get out of the car and come in and want something printed off. We have a drive-thru window. There is a computer, there is a printer that was awarded with ARPA funds through the ODL, and there's change back there. Don't get out of your car to print a shipping label. Come through the drive-thru. Jennifer and Angie man it. You can pay your water bill at the drive-thru, but we can also print, because we get a lot of people who print things. And so Jennifer, she and Angie have seen an increase in people needing copies and needing things printed through the drive-thru, which is good. Now, if we could just get an awning over the top, we'll be good.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And the other, I don't know if you saw me on TV, but we're the first library to have an Arcan vending machine.
Yes.
And nobody's been ugly to my face, but I think they've been ugly on social media, and I hope some people will have, I hope the interview will explain why it's there. It went down today, and we had to work with the manufacturer, the programmer, to download a new PIC file, get in to the programming on the machine. It wasn't vending items, and delete the old programming, install the new, and wow, that was an eye-opener. But in off and on the hour it took from start to finish to do all that, I bet we had 4 people who walked up and we had to turn them away and say, hey, do you mind coming back later? We're trying, it's got a bad file, we need to update.
Is there a charge for it?
No. You have to, and the problem was with the programming, you put in your zip code, and once the zip code was used, all of a sudden, it used to work, and the media day was Monday, we refilled it Monday, and it vended some between Monday and today, but people wouldn't come inside and tell us. And somebody came this morning and told Hannah, so we went out to investigate. It wasn't allowing you to use the same zip code over and over again. So we had to reprogram it to tell it that it, doesn't cost money, put your zip code in, and you can accept 74701 over and over and over again. So we'll see if it works. But yes, in the hour and a half the guys were setting up the machine, I talked to 2 different people, somebody whose niece had an accidental overdose and needed Narcan and didn't have any. And then the grandmother who had been in the library checking out books or movies with her grandsons, who takes, and I don't know if that was in the news article or the news story. She uses fentanyl patches. She's had cancer treatment, and she uses fentanyl patches for pain, and she's worried about the boys getting into them. She said whether they do it on purpose or accidentally, if I go to dispose of one and I don't put it away, I don't get rid of it the way I'm supposed to, and they pick it up, or maybe they get into it. So Brian talked to her and gave her 2 fentanyl test strips and 2 Narcans to take home. And then while I was talking to the lady in the parking lot, he said he told me on Monday a gentleman came up and talked about how he would like to have Narcan. That he had a family member that struggled with addiction, and they were worried. So it's not just all about the illegal drugs. I saw, I don't know what it was on. I'm not on Cram. I don't know where it was, but the news article, the news station on their Facebook page. Somebody was like, "Why bother?" Somebody else was like, "Quit trying to save people."
Oh, good grief.
And I'm like,
Well, that's, you see on, like, I see on the Bryan County Moms Facebook group all the time, people are like, hey, my 8-year-old got off the bus today and said that there were other 8-year-olds vaping. And when you've got little kids getting a hold of stuff like that, you don't know what they're putting in it because you don't know where they're getting it from.
yep.
And that's, even if you don't believe that we should try to save addicts, which is a whole tangent issue, even if that's what you believe, there's still reason to have it.
Yes, it's free. It's a program through, I kept saying the state, and I'm right, but it's the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse. And they have a lot of staff, and these machines are going in everywhere, but we were the first library, and we're the only, that's what the guy Brian, when I messaged him today to tell him that the machine wasn't working, I'm like, Hannah and I can do everything. He was like, I almost cried thinking about having to drive all because it took him 3 hours on Monday to get from where he was in the city down here. And there's no one down here to monitor, because we're the only one in this area. I want to say probably Norman is maybe the closest. And so this is still so new that they don't have somebody that has this on the route. So I have locked up an extra supply that, and I know how to get into the machine, and obviously I know a little bit too much about the machine now. That is new.
Just don't
And
use the
drive by at night because it's black and pink and the lights inside are pink. It is so cool to see. It is so cool. And that was the thing when Brian set it up, he was like, do these lights look pink? I'm like, no. And he's like, they're supposed to be pink. You have one of the brand new pink machines. You know, we need pink lights. So he called and figured out it's like with the kids and their LED lights, you have to program it to what color you want. He was like, do you want, no, I want the pink. And we're more than halfway through. I think they're just about ready to hook up our generator. So part of the parking lot's torn up. There's an island that has the OG&E transformer box on it, and they put the box for the generator there, and the generator will go next to it. I keep being told it's a huge monstrosity, but I guess it's not there yet. I don't know. I see stuff there and it's not big, but it's supposed to be really big. So that was with a grant. And as usual with most projects, they got a good way into it, and then I haven't seen anybody all week. So, but that's what we've got going on. And after school programs started back up. Legos, she had 9 yesterday. Dungeons and Dragons continued all summer long, to the point to where there's now a middle school beginners Dungeons and Dragons.
That's great.
And that was mainly because one of the kids really didn't need to be in the high school group. He needed to have his own. And they had 3 kids show up for that on Monday. So as long as I don't have to play, we're good.
Okay, Friends of the Library report. Are we gonna have somebody that is gonna be,
Well,
Taking
I'll
care of
just,
us like
we'll
that?
look at, y'all know, most of you are in the Friends of the Library. You all helped with sign-ups, with logins, signing in kids in the summer reading program, and help with the summer feeding program. So your next thing on the agenda is the book sale. So they've been sorting every Wednesday. We've rearranged. We took the paperback sort that was in the back by the drive-through window, because that will eventually not only have, what is that called? The thing that rings? I already said it.
Awning.
An awning, but they're also going to put a bank window in. They wanted to replace our fixed window, and I said, please don't. We have trained the UPS guy to bring all the packages through there. I don't want him to have to get out and go around again. We have a fridge back there for drinks for him in the summer. So they are going to put the bank window next to it as a safety. So if we take payments, we'll take them in and out of the little bank drawer. So at some point in time, the Friends wouldn't be able to use all those shelving for sorting. So the office that was my old office, that's next to the Friends room, is now we got some more bookshelves and a table, so they sort paperbacks in there. And then they were setting up today, they're going to put, you know how crowded the Friends room gets with like religious books and other things that are in there? They're putting all the religious on those shelves to free up some space in the other one. So, but that office is being used as a satellite office for some organizations. So Chickasaw Nation Vocational Rehab is gonna be there a couple of Tuesdays a month. And I'm hoping to get some other people in there to use it, because it just sits empty.
That's great.
Yeah. So,
Okay. New business. I would like to propose that I would like to go back to being vice chair, if there is someone that would like to volunteer to be chair. Some of our newer, younger people.
Keep looking that way.
I'm looking over here, I'm looking over there. So think about that, and maybe let Robbie know.
and we meet 4 times a year, and all you do is follow protocol. You vote once a year on your schedule for the next year. That is, you're an advisory board. Other than getting the report, being in the know on what the library does, kind of helping talk to the community, promote the library, which you already do.
Yeah,
You're
I
all,
already do it.
you're all friends of the library.
My kids are the library for
Yes,
sure.
yes, they are.
I mean, I don't mind doing it if you
Okay.
need somebody to.
All right.
Oh, great, thank you.
As long as you guys will help me.
Oh, well, as vice chair, I'm here to back
Yeah.
up if you are
Yeah.
ever out.
Okay.
And, you know, I did that a couple times where Bradley, was. our
Now,
chair
Bradley
before.
was the star, but that's because he had a ton of library board experience.
Yeah.
And he works in the library, but he's moved back to Antlers and to be with his mom, and so he couldn't.
And I was on a library board, Pioneer Library Board in Norman, which was the Cleveland, Pottawatomie, and McLean counties for 6 years, but I never had to, you know, I was never chair or.
You were just a
vice chair.
member, yeah.
I like to sit there and listen and take it all in, and made me not as nervous. So, and that's why I'm putting that out there, so thank you.
Yeah. I'm also
Okay,
on
so-
the library committee for the university, so I'm just
Great,
helping with all the libraries.
great, okay.
Well, Jennifer will make note of that, and then, I'll update that with, we still need a city council member. I had asked for Lauren Fuller, because once again, I didn't do the lady heavy on purpose, but she uses the library. So, Marilyn Similescu does, but Dr. Similescu doesn't. And then, none of the others use the library. And so, I had asked for her, but they've not done anything, and so we'll see. Hopefully that'll happen. But with 6 people, you're good. And even with 5, I think we have to have 4 to meet quorum, so. But,
Okay. Any other new business?
How do we get you an awning?
it's coming.
Okay.
This is being live streamed, so I don't wanna be on camera, or on audio. We're waiting for the architect. The library park engineering was 2 years in July, and we still don't have. But I have seen the actual physical drafted plans for the awning, but they didn't think about, despite me talking to them, to extend the awning from over the window 4-6 more feet to cover the drop boxes.
Sure.
Because rain in Oklahoma does not fall down, it falls sideways. And despite those boxes being covered, if it's a hard, not what we had yesterday, but if it's one of those
Right.
torrential downpours, water gets in there and items get damaged. And I'm not gonna make you pay for a book when you put it in the drop box and it got soaked. So they agreed to move the awning over, and they've agreed to move the bank window to where it's, you know, they leave the fixed window. It's funny, Becca, who was over the grant, she was like, what do you mean you open that window and you just interact with people? I'm like, what the heck? What do you think we do at the front desk? Good grief, they're not reaching through going, where's my library book? But
I
that
bet
was also. the
that sounds
reason-
so human.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there was talk in the beginning when we got the kiosk for the water bill to, with finance, why not put it outside? Why do you need it back there? I'm like, 4 days after putting in the Narcan vending machine, somebody unplugged it, bent it forward and shook it. So all, 15 boxes fell down, clogged the little door. I mean, it's free. All you have to do is put in your zip code. And they shook, and so that's the first time I had to open it up. And and then set them back up on, and it's been fine. But people are,
People.
yes.
The blueprints for the park yet?
No. We have some very basic ones. He says he's 3/4 full. And my issue with this is I know he had to wait for engineering because that area is low.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's very low. When the trees were there before we mulched the trees, homeless people couldn't stay, they could stay there until it rained once. And then it was like a swamp. So I know we're going to have to put some dirt in, but the city can help with that. We can start, I don't want cemetery dirt, but we can take dirt from other places and fill it in and build it up and, and be okay. But I'm having trouble, making contact, so I've reached out to somebody to help with that.
Oh.
So.
Don't make me sit
I
there.
know people are busy and, there aren't a lot of people around here who could do that, but we've got people who are excited about it. And Angie just gets so frustrated sometimes. But, that firm has had 3 projects at the library. So the park, and then they have to stop and do the project for the awning, because that's COVID money, so it needs to be done right now. And then, you go to order supplies and, oh, sorry, I can't get that. And so we saw that with the generator too. Oh yeah, we're good to go, we're good to go. Oh, now the manufacturer says we're 30 days out for this generator that when I bid, they said that they had. So that is actually, his contract was supposed to end the end of this month, and she's having to do a special waiver for him to go 30 more days because it's, so I know things have been crazy, but we're just excited. We're excited about the park.
I'm excited about the park.
Yes. And our, I think when we talked in March, at the last meeting, our oil and gas royalties from the Pendleton Trust were starting to come in, and they're still coming in. And this is your word for the day, in perpetuity. That sounds better than forever. So, my goal is when we meet, we'll meet in December, and remember that date is a little bit earlier because we don't want to get too close to Christmas. Then when we meet again in March, we'll have a tally for you, and that goes directly into the Pendleton Trust and can help with anything Pendleton Trust related.
Are you gonna pick the date for December, or does Melissa do that? It's
December's
picked.
already set,
Okay.
so when we meet in December, I think we usually do it, isn't it like the second Wednesday instead of the third?
I think I have it in my calendar already.
But in Wednesday, or in December, I'll have, and that's what you'll vote on for the next,
That's great.
yes,
Yeah,
so you'll know.
that's great. Okay. I would love to see the blueprints for that park.
The December meeting is December 13th.
Okay.
And I try and send you a week or 2 out, a reminder, and then the week before or the Monday of the agenda packet. I have to have help doing all that stuff, so,
She's good with that. She does.
and, y'all were good about responding, and the first one being like, hey, I know I'm gonna be there, and Joe reached out and said he was not going to be, and I didn't expect that to change by today, but, yeah, I hope
At
to
same
have
time, same place?
And we do it here because it needs to be live streamed. That was something that Odin changed, putting a city council member on here. And so I need to add, once that happens, there'll be item C under information. They'll do a, city report. And so she'll report about they usually don't talk about everything with the city, but if there's questions or things like that. Mike didn't have too much to say when he was here, but he could answer questions.
Right.
Yeah, so it's always nice having that person here in case you have some questions. But yeah.
Okay. Is there a motion for adjournment?
I'll motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Boom.